She knows how you can live the life you want regardless of the challenges you face. Although she's legally blind, Nancy's mission is to inspire others to overcome obstacles and live life full out. Call in at 800-333-0001 to ask Nancy for advice on topics such as relationships, finances, business, health, and more. Just call 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Welcome to the Living Full Out Show. I hope everybody is having a wonderful Saturday. I got to tell you, I am thrilled to be here with you, and thrilled is really that word. I look forward to the show every Saturday. It's a time when I know together we can get inspired, we can take action, get through the weekend into the week. And if you're in the car today, if you're walking the dog, if you're at home cleaning, or maybe you're at the office doing work, wherever you are, I want you to take this time for yourself. I want you to take this time to remember, what is it in your life that brings you the most joy? I want you to think about what do you want most in your life that you want to accomplish. Also, think about forgiveness. Think about all that you've gone through, all the lessons you've learned. Now, I know I just threw a lot of big thoughts at you, but I did that because part of living life in a big way is to take on those big thoughts. You know, there's days in my life when it is not easy. There are long days. I'm up at 4 a.m. I'm working sometimes till 8 p.m. And it's every hour on the hour busy. Now, I'm not complaining because I do love my life and I love what I do. But as we all know, with life demands, it can really pull on us. It can make us tired. But when you are living your purpose, when you know that you're making a difference in other people's lives as well as your own, that's when you do find the inner strength to keep stepping forward, even on those really long days. And what I love about a day like today is that there is so much possibility. You know, if you don't have plans tonight, make plans. Reach out to someone you haven't talked to in a while and say, hey, I'd love to get together with you. Or take yourself out to dinner. What a thought. Treat yourself to something special, something that you haven't had in a while. And the biggest thing is, if you feel like you need to take time to relax, to recharge your body, do that as well. But whatever you do, I want you to dream big. I want you to know that your life is worth big things. And when we have time like this to kind of reflect, plan, assess, and then move forward, that's when we can take control of our lives. That's when we can move our lives forward. Now, we have a very special guest coming up in our next segment that's going to talk about how control, or the need for control, really hurt her life. It held her back from flourishing. So sometimes control can go a negative direction, but sometimes with control, with motivation in hand, you can really make things happen in your life to move them forward. We're live today. The number to call in if you have questions is 800-333-0001, 800-333-0001. In fact, my producer's saying that we have a caller on the line. Welcome to the Living Full Out Show.
Hi.
Hi. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good. So thank you for calling in. Tell us what's on your mind today.
Yeah, I just started dating this guy. He's an atheist, and I was raised in a Catholic family. And our difference in beliefs doesn't bother me, but I believe it would bother my mom. And I was just going to ask you, how should I go about telling her about my new boyfriend?
That's a great question, and there's probably quite a few callers that have been in that same circumstance in different ways. Here's the thing. I love moms. My mom is one of my best friends for sure. But at the same time, you have to decide in your life, are you living your life for other people, or are you living your life for yourself? Because everybody in our lives, they're supporting characters. Some are more influenced than others in our life, but this is your story. And you're going to write it chapter by chapter. And this gentleman in your life, we don't know if he's going to be a part of multiple chapters or just one. But nevertheless, it's your story. So let's concentrate on the positive for a second. What do you love about him? And do you love him, or do you like him? Where are you at with him?
We've only been dating for like 6 months, so I don't know if I love him, but I really like him because I got out of a long-term relationship and I took a while to kind of discover what I wanted, and he has most of those qualities, and he challenges me in multiple ways and stimulates me in many ways as well, you know, as far as he's extremely intelligent and handy and kind. I think he's like one of the nicest people I know, which is really important to me. So that I really like, and I think he's a great person.
Wow. Well, now I got to ask you if he has a brother for me, because he sounds great. Honestly, here's the thing. When you talked about him just now, you lit up. You were smiling as you were talking about him. And we can't ask anything more of the people we date in our life than that. If we put extra pressures on people, like we bring our past into our present, or we allow other people's opinions to influence our relationships, well, then you're not really giving that person a chance, right? You're kind of setting them up to fail.
Right.
So personally, just between you and me and everybody listening, I'm just kidding, but I would honestly follow your heart. Is there anything about him that you don't like, that doesn't jive with you?
No, not really.
Okay, pretty fast answer, right?
Yeah.
So if somebody brings you so much joy and makes you smile, that is not someone to give up. And again, follow it through. This is what life's about. There's no guarantees. You know, I'd love to say that I'm going to live to be 100. I may live to be, 90, 70, who knows? But the thing is what we do have control over is choosing who we love and giving love away. You sound so sweet, and I would just stay with them and see how it goes.
All right, thank you.
Okay, one last thing, though, before you go.
Sure.
Again, don't discredit your mom's opinions, but just lovingly let her know that this is your life, and you are thankful that she gave you life, but it's your life to live. And if you don't live it, and you don't get those opportunities to make mistakes or meet the right people or meet the wrong people, then she's not letting you live your life full out.
Agreed.
Okay? Awesome.
Thanks.
All right. Have a great day and keep us posted.
Thank you so much.
You got it. So what a great question. I mean, finding that love of our life, that person that we can run with, that's a special gift when that comes into your life. It's not one to take for granted. And, being able to love someone with your heart is really what it's all about. Being legally blind, it's really changed my world and my ability to connect with people. I remember earlier on when I saw better, sure, I did see people and not judge them on their looks, but, I would be able to make eye contact with people in a bar or kind of maybe decide not to date someone because of how they looked or whatever. But nowadays with my vision, being legally blind, I'm more about feeling the person through. What do they like to do? Do they make me smile? Do they make me happy? And do they make me feel small? Do they make me feel threatened? Do they make me feel like I'm walking on eggshells? It could be a good or bad feeling. So everybody listening today, if you're looking for that love in your life, don't give up. I really believe in unconditional love. I believe in soulmates. I believe that we can find people in our life to run with. I don't believe there's just one person. And in fact, like I said earlier, my mom is one of my best friends, and she's such a great example of that. She found love 3 times in her life, and that has inspired me to know that, gosh, there's a chance for me. I can find that guy. So look to the people in your life who have healthy, strong relationships. Maybe even ask them, I know you guys have been married 20 years, 30 years, whatever. What keeps your marriage together? Or for those people that are dating or have been in a relationship and they're not married, how did you meet? How did you know that he or she was the one? Turn to the people in your life for encouragement, for motivation. Again, today we're talking about living our lives full out, having control in our lives. And sometimes to get control, we have to be honest. We have to evaluate what's right in our life and what's not working. And don't be afraid to make a mistake. Honestly, it's not a fun experience. Sometimes it can keep us up all night. Sometimes it can really make us feel bad about ourselves. But if we don't have days where we make a mistake, then we don't have the ability to forgive. Then we don't have the ability to say, I'm sorry. Then we don't have the ability to self-correct and make better decisions. So actually, I say go out there today and make a lot of mistakes and just learn. One of the things that is really important, I think, in choosing to live your life for yourself, like our last caller expressed, she wanted to ask me if her mom's comments about her boyfriend were valid or she should consider those. I'm glad she called in, because the thing is opinions of people are not a negative thing, but you always have to remember that this is your life. And so when you're planning your life out, when you're daydreaming today, when you're reflecting on your week, I really want you to consider how many opinions from other people do you let influence your life? How many different directions could your life have gone if you hadn't listened to those opinions? Remember that this is your life. You're the one who gets to choose. And really take that in, because I know for myself, there's been a lot of people over the years that have said, oh, Nancy, do this, do that. And what I've always felt is I want to hold near and dear to my heart my dreams. I want to always be Nancy. And so I want you to always be yourself. I want you to smile inside and out. I want you to know that, while your dream may look a certain way in our minds and our dreams, that the reality may be slightly different or even better. So just take a chance. That's what living full out is all about. So step out there today, be fearless, be willing to make that mistake, but don't look back and don't question yourself, because when you start to do that, you open up a can of shoulda, coulda, wouldas. And that is a place that's not inspiring. That's a place that's not motivational. I believe in all of you today to make the right decisions. Trust yourself and know that everything will be great. When we come back, we're going to be joined by Liana Rosenman. Again, her story is very, very...
If you had to choose between the buffalo and the giraffes, between a flower or an elephant, what would you choose? What if you had to decide between 100-year-old tree and a 1,000,000-year-old beach? Between drinking clean water or breathing clean air? Would you make the right choice? Would there be a right choice? Now there's a way to help. Not just one, but all these things. EarthShare, the world's leading environmental groups working together. It's one choice we can all live with.
This ad sponsored by Ad Council and EarthShare.
Hi, I can't come to the phone right now because I'm abusing my children. Not just verbally, but physically. I'll get back to you.
If only child abuse was this easy to recognize. If you even suspect abuse, call Child Help at 1-800-4A-CHILD or visit childhelp.org. We've helped millions of people help millions of children. All calls are anonymous and confidential, so call 1-800-4A-CHILD or visit childhelp.org. Child Help. Trust your instincts. Brought to you by Child Help and the Ad Council.
Later, much later, we heard something. We didn't breathe for listening. Then footsteps on the back porch, creeping, then more confident. After all, nobody was home. A hand closed on the knob on the screen door to the kitchen and found it latched. We heard a little sawing sound as a file began to slice through the screen wire. Grandma reached down for something in her sewing basket. Through the darkness, I managed to notice Grandma's rocker was rocking and she wasn't in it. She was standing over me. "Keep just behind me," she whispered. I followed her across the room into the kitchen. Now we were by the door, and I heard the scuffle of heavy feet in there on the crinkly linoleum. Grandma turned back to me. Under my nose, she struck a wooden match with her thumbnail. She touched the match to something in her other hand. It sizzled. Then she leaned down and rolled it into the invisible kitchen. Explore new worlds. Find out what happens next by reading the book A Long Way from Chicago by Richard Peck. For other great book ideas, visit literacy.gov. A message from the Library of Congress and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. A professional motivational speaker, Nancy can help you overcome obstacles and start living full out. Call in with questions live at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Welcome back to the Living Full Out Show. I'm so glad to be here with everybody. We are having a great show. Just had a wonderful caller call in asking about, whether she should be influenced by people in her life. And, her question was not only just on point with our next guest, but it kind of opened up the can of bringing control into our life. That's what we want to talk about today, is by living your life full out, it means to have control in a positive way. When you're living on purpose, when you're dedicated to your dreams, you're controlling the aspects of your dreams so that those goals do come true. So it might be that, if you're trying to work out or prepare for a certain marathon, you might have to be disciplined. You might have to have positive control in your life so that you can achieve those goals. Same goes for financial discipline. Bringing control in your life so that your finances don't get out of control, or again, putting yourself in healthy environments to meet people. Don't put yourself in environments where you could get hurt. So the thing is control can be positive, but control can also have a very negative effect. And, luckily for most people, we get lucky, right? We might push the waters a little bit, kind of test things out, and we kind of get lucky. But sometimes we don't get lucky. And so you can't always assume that it's just going to work out. Really want you to kind of think things through in life a little bit more. Think about consequences in addition to, rolling the dice and letting luck take its hand. I know in my life, going legally blind, that's been a very interesting road. I've really put myself out there in a lot of situations where I'm living full out. I'm excited to try new things, but sometimes I have to be careful. I can't just haphazardly go out there and not put myself in a safe place. That is very similar to where we are going into our next guest, Liana Rosenman. I want you to think about this. Think about when you were 12 years old. When you're 12 years old, you were probably playing sports, hanging out with your friends and your family. 12 years old is not when we should have such heavy on our heart moments like the need for control, the need to please, the need to be the best. But Alana did have those needs. She did have those pressures. And that led her into an eating disorder, which really changed her life in so many ways. I want to welcome my very good friend, Liana Rosenman, to the show. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Hi. You know what? Ever since I met you, you have stood out to me because not only are you honest and really honest with yourself and everybody that you work with in terms of helping them to overcome eating disorders, but you're not afraid to say, you might have made a mistake. You're not afraid to look forward or look backwards. And I think that is so gutsy and so real. So I want to say thank you for that, because I know you're about to jump into a very personal, private story, but yet you're so relatable. And so I want to thank you in advance for that.
Oh, no, thank you for letting me share my story today.
Absolutely. So I was just telling the viewers about when you were 12 years old. This is really when it all began for you, correct?
Yes. It was right around my bat mitzvah, the end of 7th grade, going into 8th grade.
And what was it? I mean, talk about the circumstances in your life. Now, I know that family dynamics really had a big play in your need for control, your need to live your life a certain way.
Right. So, I mean, growing up, I did have a great childhood. I was very athletic, played soccer, basketball, track, and swimming was the thing I was most passionate about. But I've always been a perfectionist and always a people pleaser, and I always just needed to be the best. And growing up in my household, I wouldn't say that it's the root cause of my eating disorder. I kind of like to look at my eating disorder as like a puzzle, and this is a major component of my puzzle of why I developed an eating disorder, is the environment I grew up in. Backtracking to the way that my mom grew up, her mom, my grandma, is a Holocaust survivor. So the way that she grew up was food is a reward, food is the way you show love, and you need to eat everything on your plate because nothing can go to waste. So my mom kind of implemented that into our household until they realized that my brother took it a little too far, and from the time I remember, he was overweight, and I remember going to like every diet center in town, and they've always were trying something new to figure out a way that he can get help and seek help and lose weight, but nothing ever stuck until, I mean, it's still a battle for him, but it was very hard to grow up in a house where there were certain foods that he could have and foods that I could have, but he couldn't. And just the whole labeling foods in general was a very toxic environment for me to grow up in.
Well, and this is where it's so fascinating for me because, you know, I kind of grew up in that same environment in terms of, you know, eat what's on your plate. But at the same time, it's fascinating to me that your brother, who was just doing what he was supposed to do, he just wanted to make your parents happy, was overweight. And again, like you were saying, they were trying to monitor him to not eat food, but yet telling him to eat food. And then here you were going the completely other direction. I mean, to control your life, you stopped eating altogether.
Right. It was, yeah, I remember wanting to lose just like 5 pounds around my bat mitzvah, and also just wanting to be like a good role model for my older brother. Be like, this is how you should eat. When obviously I wasn't setting a good example for both of us, but it was something that I felt like I couldn't control. And it was just that 5 pounds turned into another 5 pounds and another 5 pounds. And I really lost control.
Did you at some point try to hide it from your family and your friends?
I wouldn't say I hid it because it was out there and I didn't think that I was doing anything wrong. And I think that's a lot because how the media portrays an eating disorder and how you learn about it in school. It's just like someone with an eating disorder doesn't eat. And like I remember learning about it and thinking, oh, like Nicole Richie, like that is what anorexia is, and like I don't look like that, and I eat. It's not like I go days without eating. It's just I wasn't eating enough. Mm-hmm. So I had this perception in my head of what an eating disorder was, and I was like, that's not me. Like I just like to eat clean and like healthy and a little too healthy and to exercise a lot, and I really didn't think anything of it, neither to my family or my friends. I actually, the only way that I really got help and realized that I was struggling was I was in the hospital for over a month for a staph infection because I was so malnourished. And even then, my doctor was just like, my weight and my blood pressure was always just like pushing it off as because I'm an athlete, and never talked about me having anorexia. It wasn't until one of my mom's friends from work struggled when she was younger and was like, no, Liana is definitely anorexic and you need to get her help. And that's the way that I guess my secret that I didn't even know I was keeping was revealed.
Well, and thank goodness that friend did speak up and say something, and not everybody just kind of looked the other direction. You know, you had mentioned to me too that you lost a lot of friendships along this journey. You started to really alienate yourself.
I definitely did lose a lot of friends when I first got diagnosed because I was ashamed. I didn't know how to tell them or if I should tell them. And then, I mean, 8th grade is when I got diagnosed, and then it was like summer, and all my friends were going to like sleepaway camp or going on family vacations. And if I wanted to hang out with them, it's like, let's go to the movies. But that's fine. I can do that. But then I'm just like, anxious the whole time about where we're going to go to eat after, or what excuse I'm going to give for why I'm not going to eat. So I began becoming isolated because I just didn't want to put myself in those situations. And after a while, I mean, there's only so much that a friend can do if they're pushed away constantly. So it's definitely something that I was hurt in the moment, but I can understand. And through it, I mean, there's always like that silver lining, I guess, as like I like to look at it, is through my eating disorder and recovering from an eating disorder, I realized what a true friend is and what a valued friend is, and that I can count on my fingers how many friends I have, and I don't need thousands of friends. I just need a handful of really good, dedicated friends that I can trust, and that's definitely something my recovery taught me.
Well, you have just given us so many lessons just in what you said the last couple of minutes here, because really you didn't want to go out with your friends because you wouldn't want to be forced to eat or eat things that you didn't want to eat. And I think a lot of times in life, people might do that if they're financially strapped. Maybe they'll stop going out with friends so they don't have to spend money, or, you know, in relationships. So that's a great lesson that you taught all of us, to be more aware of why we're not doing things. You know, that's a huge lesson. And then also being able to have those close friendships in our lives. I always say personally that I'm always accepting applications for friends, because just as I told our first caller in the show that, you know, this is our story. So as we unfold this story a little further, we'll be back after the break, and stay tuned.
Matey, how's the fishing this morning?
Shh! You'll scare the fish.
Oh, nonsense. Fishies love the safety pirate. Now tell me, I see you're wearing your life jacket, and that's mighty smart of you. But have you taken a boating safety course?
I have. Now, could you please leave?
So you know to stay alert by not mixing alcohol and boating, don't you?
I do.
But I bet you didn't know it's dangerous to speed on the water. Now, did you, Turbo?
Actually, I knew that.
Well, smarty pants. You seem to know it all, don't you?
Yep. Maybe even more than a safety pirate.
Watch your mouth, sailor!
When you're out on the water this year, make sure you're being safe. Learn the boating rules and watch out for other boaters.
And remember to boat smart. Boat safe.
A message from the National Safe Boating Council.
I want to change some things. I want the moms where I live to have childcare they can trust.
I want to make sure my little brother and his friends have a safe place to play.
I want to help more kids graduate from high school.
Help more hardworking families learn how to budget and save.
I want more of my neighbors to have access to health care.
Want to make a difference? There are so many ways you can. Help create opportunities for everyone in your community.
I want to change what I see around here.
United Way is creating real, lasting change where you live by focusing on the building blocks of a better life: education, income, and health.
I mean, I just want to see more smiles on my sidewalks.
Reach out a hand to one and influence the condition of all. Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United. For more, visit United Way at liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a trusted life coach, Nancy will help you overcome setbacks and embrace all life has to offer. Call in with questions live at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Welcome back to the Living Full Out Show. I hope everybody is having a wonderful Saturday. So we are having a great conversation with Liana Rosenman. She's being so authentic and really truthful in her journey of being anorexic and the need for control and people pleasing. And, honestly, we've all felt that need to please. We've all felt that need to desperately want to have control in our life. So I am just really grateful that she is serving today as an example for all of us. So welcome back, Liana.
Thank you.
So before our break, you shared with us about your family dynamic. You shared with us about how, you had friendships kind of go away due to your anorexia. But then I'd like you to now share with us about that kind of epic day for you, the day that you almost kind of teeter-tottered on wanting to kill yourself, because that was a really big day.
It was, and it's actually kind of rare for someone with an eating disorder to get this wake-up call and realization and that aha moment, but I'm grateful for mine because it really did turn my life around. But it was something that I dealt with a lot, was the need to control my food intake and the amount of calories I was eating and burning off, and everything was just prepackaged and pre-measured. And even if I went to a restaurant, I would bring my own food because I really didn't trust anything or anyone. So one night my parents were making me dinner, and I was watching from the side like I usually do to make sure that they weren't doing or adding anything that they shouldn't have. And I remember I took out a measuring cup to measure sauce for ravioli, and they looked at me and they're like, "Why? What are you doing, Liana? Like, why are you measuring sauce? Like, you don't measure sauce." And I just couldn't wrap my head around why I couldn't measure sauce. And one thing led to the next, and we were screaming and arguing, and they took away my measuring cup and my cell phone. And this was when I was in 10th grade, and I was more destroyed that they took away my measuring cup than my cell phone. And I remember just losing it and running to the top of the stairs and pulling my mom's hair and kicking and screaming and saying that I wanted to kill myself and that I would jump off the stairs. And they took me into the emergency room, and I was in the emergency room and then in the hospital for 3 days and had someone watching me 24/7. And I had a lot of time to myself and time to reflect and time to think about my actions and my choices and what my life has been like from 7th grade to now 10th grade, and all the things that I was missing out on, and the friendships I lost, and now the family I was tearing apart. And I just realized that this was all because I needed to be a certain weight, and I needed to control everything I was eating. And it's not about the food or the weight at all. It was the way that I could focus my energy instead of thinking about all those things that felt out of control in my life. And I realized that I can't measure my self-worth through my food, my calories, and my weight, and that if I really was going to get better this time, that I had to dig deeper than I was before. I think for so long I was just touching the surface and not digging deep enough into the root causes of my eating disorder. So once I was released, I went back to my original therapist that I saw in 7th grade, and we really dug deeper, and I realized that I needed to put 110% into my recovery, and I had to choose recovery every single day.
You know what? Thank you for sharing that. And I know that sometimes this is still quite hard to talk about because it is so personal. And, one of the greatest gifts that you were sharing with me that you got out of that epic night and that processing and really engaging your recovery is that earlier on you were choosing to use control in a negative way in your life. But then out of your recovery, you then chose to use control in a more positive way. Share with us about that.
I remember throughout treatment, I was always told to find a passion and use that type A personality and perfectionism for good. And I could really never understand that. I was like, what do you want me to do? Like scrapbook? It wasn't until my friend and I that I met in treatment, had a lot of conversations, and my friend from treatment, we really became best friends and helped each other reach a full recovery together. But we had so many conversations about the flaws in the system with eating disorders. Eating disorders are rarely covered by insurance, and it's about $30,000 per month. The second thing that we always talked about was there was never a role model for us to look up to who had this confidence that didn't have to do with beauty on the outside, but beauty on the inside. And with that, there was never a role model for us to look up to as someone who recovered from an eating disorder and went on to do amazing things with their lives. And all our conversations always went back to those three things. And I was in 11th grade at the time, and Christina was in 10th, and we were just teenagers, and we're like, we should do something about this. And we called a meeting for our parents, and we had this whole plan, how we were going to start a nonprofit and have this fundraiser, and they were just like, you guys are crazy. Do you know how much work it is to start a nonprofit? And they're like, yeah, we know. We'll do it. And we filled out the paperwork, and we did everything and really put all our energy that we used to have an eating disorder into positive energy and used it to fuel this nonprofit that has been in existence since 2008 that's gone on to save, individually, we've funded 30 people and funded their treatment, but we've also saved countless other lives by sharing our stories and our messages. And now we're international, and we have chapters across the United States and all over. We have over 40 chapters, which is just an incredible feeling to know that our stories are out there and that we're spreading this message of hope and healing.
Well, isn't it amazing, sweet Ilana, that you did that? You did that, and that came from what was such a scary, stressful, overwhelming experience in your life that you were able to birth this nonprofit to really go out there and save other people, save lives, really. If you could go back and not have that eating disorder, not have that need to control and please, but then, of course, that would have changed the whole track of your future today, would you change things?
I wouldn't, and I wouldn't even hesitate, because I am so grateful for everything that I went through, because it's made me who I am today. And from a young age, I learned important lessons that probably take a lifetime to figure out. And I knew who I was and what I wanted to be, and all those things that you learn, I learned when I was a senior in high school. And one of my favorite quotes is, if you have skeletons in your closet, you might as well make them dance. And I could have very well just, after I recovered, put this away and never talked about it again. But I know that when I was going through this, that if there was something like this that existed, I would have gravitated towards it, and it probably would have helped me. Mm-hmm. Just to know that there's someone else out there that was feeling the same things that I did, but got better. And that message of hope and light is something that I want to provide to people so they don't feel alone.
Well, and before this segment wraps up, I know one thing that you're quite passionate about is how you can support not only the person with the eating disorder, but how you can better support the friends and family. You know, it is kind of a tricky moment for the family members. What do they do to help you? What do family and friends do to help you? When you look back in your life, back at that time, or if you were going to give advice today to other people who may be living with someone with an eating disorder, what would you give? What advice?
I would just say be supportive and try to understand what they're going through by just asking and not assuming why people are doing it, and just always being there to support them, whether it's just sending them inspirational quotes once in a while or asking them to go to therapy with them as a support. Or, I mean, researching it on your own is important, but eating disorders are so complex and every individual person and story is different. But there are some great resources out there, but the biggest resource is the person that's in front of you, and you should never give up on that person because they've given up on themselves, and they just need constant reminders that you're there and that you believe in them.
So well said. And again, you are surely a great example. I mean, you are just a light in this world, and just love is pouring through every part of you. When you say those last words, I really feel that, and I get that. So thank you so much for being a part of our show today, and keep us posted on the nonprofit as it continues to grow and change lives.
I will. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Have a good day. Thank you.
You too.
So thanks so much to Alana for being so honest and personal with her story, and really well said. When we consider what we're going through in our lives, we also want to pay attention to the people around us. You know, no one lives full out alone. No one gets to that top of the mountain by themselves and turn around and says, yes, I made it, but no one is there to share it with. We want to become more aware. We want to recognize signs of our loved ones and families and friends so that we can truly live full out together. We'll be right back with some more powerful calls. They're coming in, and stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hey, Dad.
Yeah?
You remember that ball game we went to a couple years ago?
Sure.
And how you didn't have enough cash for 2 hot dogs, so you walked with me on your shoulders until we found an ATM? And then when we got back to our seats, we never saw the hot dog guy again.
Well, I don't remember all that.
Yeah, that was an awesome game.
You never know which moments will be the ones they'll remember forever, so take time to be a dad today. Learn more at 1-877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Medical mistakes claim tens of thousands of lives every year. The healthcare community is working on it, but you can help. When you communicate with your doctor, when you ask more questions, you reduce your risk of suffering a medical mistake. Doctors can't answer if you don't ask. Help reduce your risk. Questions are the answer. Learn the 10 questions you must ask. Visit www.ahrq.gov. This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality, and the Ad Council.
I'm getting a catcher's mitt.
I'm getting ice skates. I'm getting a devastating flood.
Adults are generous. We're even giving kids global warming, but we can still reduce greenhouse gas pollution. Go to fightglobalwarming.com. Brought to you by Environmental Defense, the Robertson Foundation, and the Ad Council.
There are many sounds in your daily life. Ones that make you smile. Ones that help you relax. And there are some sounds that can help save lives. Wireless emergency alerts. Now on many mobile devices, use a unique sound and vibration to bring you critical information about emergencies in your area. With updates from local sources you know and trust, you can be in the know wherever you are. Learn more at ready.gov/alerts. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Have you ever lost a cat? And have you ever wanted to get your cat back after you lost it? I'm Andrew Hoffman. I invented the Lost Cat Magnet. Just turn it on and Lost Cat sticks to it. Just listen to one satisfied cat. That's proof. You should invent stuff too. But remember, don't do a Lost Cat Magnet.
Anything's possible. Keep thinking. Get started on your own inventions or just play some games at inventnow.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, the National Inventors Hall of Fame Foundation, and the Ad Council.
Living Full Out is about opening your arms very wide. Open those arms as wide as you can. Hug as many people as you can. Wrap yourself around all of the life lessons that come along your journey. Always keep those arms open. Always be ready for that next experience. That is what it means to live full out. Keep your eyes open. Keep your heart open. Never close your arms. Never close your heart. Living full out is a journey. It's meant to be lived. And you are living it each and every day. Here's to you living your life
You're
full out.
listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a certified life coach, Nancy can help you to overcome challenges and start living full out. Call in with questions live at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Wow, I cannot believe it. We are in our last segment of the show. It has gone so fast, but truly, I was touched by our last guest, Liana Rosenman. I want to thank her again for being part of the show. I actually had two sisters in my family who went through anorexia, and so it's really personal to me. And whether somebody is struggling with an eating disorder that is where you're losing weight or you're gaining weight, never give up on those people. That was a great lesson that she taught us today in her final comments. And so think about all the people in our lives that we don't want to give up on. We want to be there for them. We want to be of support. But don't be that people pleaser all the time. Don't give up on yourself too. Remember that this is your story. The journey of yourself, the journey of your life is the one that you need to live, the one that you need to really protect, yet let yourself be free to explore and live that life full out. I know for myself, being legally blind is just a piece of my life. I've gone through financial challenges like everyone else. I've had a heartbreak like everybody else. But what I've learned along the way is when I came to a crossroad, when I was in tears, when I was on my knees and I was just at my breaking point, I knew that I had the ability to choose. I had the ability to wallow in those tears, to give up, to stay in bed all day, to stay inside and not go out. But I didn't do that. I chose to go the opposite direction. I chose to be very vulnerable with people, ask for help, to not give up, to research, to explore all my options. Now, I don't tell you that because it's rah, 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 go Nancy. What I'm saying is wherever you are in your life, whatever crossroad you're at, wherever you feel a lot of disappointment or despair, know that this is just a moment in time. Know that truly, if you ask for that help, others will reach out their arm to help you. And that is what this community is for. That's what this show is for. So if you have a question, I want you to call in. It's 800-333-0001, 800-333-0001. I'm so proud that I am in this seat, that I'm the one who gets to kind of be the host of this show, the one that gets to bring us all together. But we're in this life together. So it's your stories. It's the people around us that allow this adventure to be so fruitful. It's not just the Nancy Show. It's not just our only life and just us living our life. It's really bringing it to everybody in our world. So I want to go back to the lines. Welcome to the Living Full Out Show.
Hello.
Hi, welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm finding you.
I am great, and really I'm happy to be with you most of all. So do tell, what's going on today?
Yes, well, I have a question. I have been working at my job for almost 10 years. And though I have put my best foot forward every single day, I feel like that they have been taking advantage of all the things that I have done for this company. Now, my question is, do you think that it is time for me to leave or start a new job elsewhere?
Well, can you tell me, what do you do for a living right now?
Well, right now I am co-managing a all-women's gym. And I love everything about it. I love all of the members, but it's just that no matter what I do, I am not growing like I should be.
And what would be the measure of growing to you? If you were growing in your career, what would that look like?
Basically, I would like to have something that I can actually think about what I am going to do 15 years from now. I mean, what if I want to retire? What if I want to travel? This job does not provide that for me. So, it's just that all of a sudden one day I just had like a light bulb moment, like, where am I going to be financially 15 years from now?
Mm-hmm. Yep, and that's a very, very real moment. That's not just a fleeting thought. It can sometimes be a scary thought, right?
Thank you. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I'm just curious. Obviously, this job really brings a lot of joy to you in a lot of different ways. But what other aspects of you are not being fulfilled? Are there other secret talents that we don't know about that you wish that you could get paid for?
Yes, of course. For example, I would love to actually finish my college education. One of the things that I would love to do is just be on a live, radio, and just basically talk to other individuals. Something like a Compass person, reaching out, helping people. And I guess this is one of the actual things that I truly love about my job. Each and every day, I actually come across different types of people who have different questions, and it brings me so much joy to actually help them. But, just like I said, unfortunately, when I think about where am I going to be 15 years from now financially, it gets very scary for me.
Well, if you were to go back to school and get your degree, would that open more doors for you in terms of your career opportunities?
I think so.
Okay. And so what we want to do is we want to start taking certain words out of your vocabulary, number one. So you said, I think so. You want to be positive. I know so. Okay? Because that education is going to come with some money, and that money is precious to you as you consider retirement, right? So we don't want to put down money on an education on a think. So, and a lot of times we do that. We will say things in our lives like, I'm not sure. Oh, I think so. Take out the thinks, the nots. Choose your words because they will guide you to where you want to go. And so, if you feel positively that going ahead, completing your education, that a career would be there for you, would open more doors for you, then I say go for it. Because right now you are a bit limited. You love what you do, but it doesn't seem like it is the end all. It doesn't seem like it seems like this is, again, like we talked about at the beginning of the show with another caller previously, this may just be one chapter of your life. The next chapter is completing your education. And the next chapter is that next career. And also, think about diversifying yourself. It used to be that people stayed in one job forever and ever and ever. That isn't the case anymore. There's no reason why you can't kind of spread yourself around, and that way you're really impacting even more people, because it sounds like you're very positive. You have a lot to give. People are drawn to you, and I'm just excited for you to call back in a year from now, 6 months from now, 5 years from now, and let us know how this unfolds, because you've made a huge impact where you are, but imagine what's ahead of you, right?
Yes, I sure will. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And, it's kind of a scary thought when we think about it, but let's say you get that your education completed. Let's say you get a fantastic job, and let's say you're able to really make an impact in the lives of some people that maybe would have given up. If you don't stay the course, go through the education, get that next job, you can't help those people.
You are right. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. So do call back in. Let us know how it goes.
I sure will.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You got it. Take care. Okay. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
So she brings up such a great concept. And we talked about this earlier. It's choosing. She could choose to stay in the job that she's at. She really enjoys it. Or she could choose to go back to school, complete her education, kind of roll the dice and really control her own life in a positive way. That's the difference between negative control and positive control. I believe that if she really does all that, it's not like a job will be, waiting there, on a red carpet. We have to work for the jobs we want. We all know, we're all very aware of that. But the thing is in life, we want to have opportunities. The more we put ourselves out there, the more we continually educate ourselves. It might be going back to school and getting a degree. It might be going to a seminar or getting coached or going to therapy. If you educate yourself, if you put yourself out there, let's say you want to find a new relationship, go on some online dating sites, go seek a matchmaker. When you have options, that's when you can really step into controlling your life in a positive way. Now you get to choose. So as we consider the rest of the weekend here and what's ahead of you into the week, think of all the ways in which you can choose to go in a more positive direction. Even through this show today, I've thought about things that I'm going to do differently today. I'm going to go work out. I choose to work out today. I'm going to actually go back and listen to a teleclass, a course I missed earlier in the week by phone. There's a recording. I'm going to go back and listen to it because I choose to be educated. And I'm also going to reach out to a friend tomorrow and maybe go to breakfast, someone I haven't seen in a while, and put that in my schedule. I'm going to choose to reconnect with that person. The great thing about living our lives is that we have the ability to step forward every day. The past is in the past. The future is ahead of us. We will be back next week with a very, very inspiring guest, and it's going to be one that you don't want to miss. And again, you guys are welcome to call in anytime to get advice. The number again is 800-333-0001. I want to thank the entire Living Full Out family who puts this show together each week for you. Behind the scenes, there's so much that goes on, but we do it because we want you to be motivated. We want you to be successful, happy, and thriving in your life. So just here's to you living your life full out. And again, we look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great day.